Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for the transfer tips video for Double Game Week 7. Yes, it is a Double Game Week 7 with Luton and Burnley both having double game weeks. So, yeah, as always, on a Tuesday evening, we're going to discuss the players you should be looking to buy, sell, hold, and ignore. I'm joined by Jordan. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very good, thanks. Hopefully everyone else is doing fine at the start of this week. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think transfer tips video for Game Week 7, as there is a lot of hot picks that did pop up in Game Week 6 that I think we'll all want to get rid of.
Yeah, we're going to discuss all the players that you should be looking at as well. And also, maybe discuss our teams as well. And yeah, we'll give our thoughts on what we should be targeting for Double Game Week 7, because obviously it is a double game week, which doesn't seem as exciting this game week, because usually, we are rushing in to bring in double game week players. However, I feel like this time it is a bit different. So anyway, let's kick it off with first buy of the video, really, and that is Mo Salah. Now, Mo Salah quietly going about his business really well, I think, this season, along with Liverpool. That is now 6 appearances, 3 goals and 4 assists. Obviously scoring that penalty on the weekend against West Ham. I think that's his second penalty of the season. So, you take a look again at Salah's numbers. They're very, very good in terms of the underlying stats. His expected goals per 90, 0.65. And his expected assists per 90, which is quite impressive for me, is 0.41. And from what I've seen from Mo Salah this season, he's very, very involved in Liverpool's chance creation. We've seen him drop a bit more deeper and pick up the ball and look to feed in the likes of Nunes, Diaz, etc., and be a bit more of a creator this season, which I've been very impressed with Salah. We know Salah is an elite goal scorer. He's going to get you goals no matter what. But now, obviously, that assist, his creation, I think, is an underrated part of his game. He's very good at that. And yeah, I've been impressed with watching Salah. 4 assists already, which I believe is the highest, I think, along with Maddison. I think they both have 4 assists. But yeah, look, Salah's been great this season so far. His ownership is on the rise, nearly hitting 30%. He is 12.5 million. What have you made of Salah this season, Jordan? Have you watched much of Liverpool?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised at Salah, if I'm honest, this season, because I was completely biased at the start of the game weeks where we saw Salah get a lot of assists, like we did against Chelsea, that 1-1 draw for Liverpool. I thought from there onwards it was going to be like we won't see many goals from Salah and more assists, which I think I did mention previously in other streams, but he has literally proved me wrong. He has yet to blank. I think he's one of few midfielders that hasn't blanked yet. So he's had 6 out of 6 returns each game week with no blanks or returns, whether it's a goal or an assist. So he's doing really well. And for 12.5 million, I think he's definitely a player you can consider buying into your team. The only problem is, though, and this is a question for you, Huss, do you think you can get Salah into your team with 1 free transfer? Or do you think with the way our teams are set up now, does it require 2 free transfers to buy Salah, or maybe take a -4 if you only have 1 free transfer?
Yeah, of course, it's going to be tough. I guess a lot of us won't be able to bring him in one move. I'm talking about my team. I can't bring Salah in 1 move. If I could, I probably would do it. I know you can. You could bring it in 1 move. You're in that luxury position. And if you can't bring him in 1 move, let's take a look where it comes to fixtures now. Next 5, he's got Tottenham away, Brighton away. Now, those 2 games, are a bit tough, you'd think, because Tottenham, as we've seen, have started the season really well, playing some good football under Ange. They've just drawn away to Arsenal. Again, good result. Brighton, they've been really good this season, so that's another tough game, away game. Then after that, though, in game week 9 is where if you can't get Salah for 7 or 8, you'd want Salah for game week 9, 10, 11, because after that, Everton, Forest, back-to-back home games, and then Luton as well in game week 11, which could be a very nice game for Salah and Liverpool.
Yeah, that Luton away fixture does look really good for Salah. Maybe potentially captain worthy in that game week, depending on obviously what Haaland has in game week 11.
Yeah, and just going back to Salah, that fixture, Tottenham away last season, Salah actually scored 2 goals against Tottenham at Tottenham's ground last season. I remember Liverpool won 2-1, and Salah did get a haul in that game as well. So Salah does have a very good record actually against Spurs. I believe he always seems to score against Spurs. So if you can bring him in, I don't think it's a bad fixture. I know it's Tottenham and they're playing really well, but we've seen Salah, he's on penalties and he tends to do better in these bigger matches. And just looking at Salah against West Ham, 10-pointer in game week 6, 10-pointer in game week 5 as well. That's back-to-back 10-pointers. And he's becoming quite hard to ignore, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
Are looking a lot better. And I know at the start of the season, there was maybe a bit of doubt about Liverpool after their poor season last year. But it looks like Liverpool are firmly back now in terms of turning that poor season they had around. And I think their assets now, like mainly Salah, is another viable option for us this season.
Yeah, because Liverpool are now second in the table, and with that draw from Arsenal and Spurs, that has helped obviously Liverpool jump up into the top 4. And now potentially the question is, are they in the title race with Man City? Because Liverpool do look good this season. Salah looks good this season, so it is looking up on the upside for Liverpool as long as obviously their players stay fit and ready to play, obviously in each game. But yeah, overall, Salah I think is definitely a buy for the upcoming fixtures he does have, as they all look really good for him and obviously for the future onwards.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying if you can, bring in Salah, guys, and if not, bring him in a couple of weeks later if you can, game week 9 onwards. Let's move it along then. So that's Salah out of the way. And we've got to discuss Newcastle and Trippier, who is the next buy on our list. Now, Trippier's ownership is actually very, very high, 35%, but it doesn't seem that way because when you look at people's teams, no one's really got Trippier, which I don't know how it works because looking at his ownership, it seems like he's owned by a lot of people, but I don't know many people with Trippier in their teams, which is mad, as I said. But 6 appearances so far this season and 3 assists, and all those 3 assists came in the last game against Sheffield. Just to ask you, Jordan, what have you made of Newcastle? Obviously, they had a tricky start, but you take a look at that swing now with the fixtures. What are your thoughts on Newcastle and Trippier if you caught the game?
Yeah, I caught the game. It was an incredible 8-0 win, considering every player uniquely scored 1 goal each from the team, which was quite impressive. I imagine that's a record in itself for the Premier League. But yeah, in general, for Trippier-wise, and arguably the fixtures for Newcastle were difficult to begin with, because they did have, obviously, in the first game week, they had Aston Villa, but then they had Man City in game week 2, then Liverpool at home in game week 3, and then Brighton in game week 4, then obviously Brentford in number 5. The only easy fixture they've really had was literally the 8-0 win against Sheffield United away in game week 6, where they obviously won massively, and Trippier assisted 3 of the goals from that game. See, now we look at the fixtures for Trippier. It's a massive swing. You've got West Ham away in 8. You can arguably say that's a tough fixture, but the way Newcastle play right now, I don't think that's really going to be that hard for them to obviously get something from that game. But then you've got Crystal Palace at home, which is a nice fixture for Newcastle, especially at home. Wolves away, another great game. And then a very exciting fixture, Arsenal at home. I will be very intrigued to see obviously what Trippier does, and obviously the team in general for Newcastle. But yeah, I've liked what I've seen, especially from that Sheffield United game. It was absolutely a masterclass from Trippier. His pass through balls are incredible. His overhead, his passes in general are amazing. They're pretty much similar to Trent's whenever you see him. They're like mirror images of what we see from Trent for Liverpool. But in terms of Trippier, yeah, I'm surprised that his ownership is at that percentage. It's literally stayed at 30% from game week 1, obviously up till now, when it's now currently 35 and on the rise. And obviously his price is still 6.6 million, expected to rise soon. But I have been impressed from that Sheffield United game, and it looks promising that Trippier in the next 4 game weeks can potentially get some decent hauls, I think, from at least 3 of those 4 fixtures coming up.
Yeah, just to add on that as well, I actually mentioned about, I was quite heavy on Newcastle on the deadline stream. a lot of people were asking us who should we buy the defender, and I said bring in Botman, bring in Burn, bring in Trippier, bring in double Newcastle defense, because I just had a feeling that they'd keep a clean sheet, which obviously they did, and obviously and they went and scored. All of them pretty much got a haul, and yeah, it was a bit painful as a non-Newcastle defender owner. But I think now if you can't, there's a question here from Triple V, what to do with Chilwell. I think that's an easy question to answer. You're bringing a Newcastle defender. If you can afford Trippier, I think Trippier is a good move. If you can't and you need to save budget, I think Botman would be my choice. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that Newcastle defense, and regrettably, I couldn't bring him in. But you take a look at the fixtures as you mentioned. Burnley, I could see a clean sheet there. West Ham, okay, that's a tough one. Palace, Wolves, these are some nice games, and we should now start back in Newcastle to turn it around, because their fixtures have actually gone a lot easier. And yeah, I think Trippier, there could be some big scores coming up for him in the coming weeks. And as a non-owner, that does worry me. So if you can, definitely Trippier in, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think last season, I remember you went without Trippier, and it did cost you a lot of obviously ranks due to him getting double hauls, bonus points. You've got to realise that as well. Trippier normally gets bonus 3 points if he does get an attack and return, as well as a clean sheet in games. So we might see the exact same scenario this game or this season, where Trippier now is like the killer for rank if you don't have him in your team.
Yeah. Look, I'm a big fan of the Newcastle defense, and I think double up on them could work out quite nicely if you do want to go down that route. But yeah, that's the second buy on the list. Let's bring up a few players that we think you should be looking to maybe get rid of. And these ones might not come as a surprise. First one up is Raheem Sterling. We've got to chat about Chelsea, I guess, this segment. So 6 appearances for Sterling, 2 goals, 1 assist. I think both those goals, came in that win against Luton. Chelsea's only win of the season, I believe.
It is.
I'm a Sterling owner. I think you're a Sterling owner as well.
I definitely am, but not for long.
This Chelsea chat, obviously they've not started the season well. I think that's fair to say. The first game was against Liverpool. They looked pretty good against Liverpool, and I think that performance maybe flattered. I don't know, maybe changed our mind on Chelsea. We thought, the way they played against Liverpool, and then their fixtures they had, like Luton, Fulham, Burnley, Sheffield, Bournemouth, I think they had in that run. We thought, you know what, they're going to start turning it around, and actually they might have a good season. But that's not transpired, and I think we're frustrated with Chelsea assets. A lot of us maybe naively went gung-ho on Chelsea, bought in triple assets. I did myself. I had Sterling, Jackson, Chilwell. I don't know what I was thinking. What have you made of Chelsea this season so far? Obviously, you had a triple up on them as well.
I had double Chelsea, thankfully. I didn't have Chilwell in my team.
Yeah. But you were looking at Chilwell, I remember.
Yeah, I was looking at Chilwell until the chat actually convinced me not to bring in Chilwell, and that's when I brought in Trent instead. So
yeah, I mean, what have you made of Chelsea? Have you watched much of them so far?
I mean, I've watched some of their games. I have eagerly not watched all of them, especially that Aston Villa game. I'm glad I didn't watch where they lost 1-0, because I did hear that was a absolute horrible play from Chelsea. But yeah, I think there was a lot of hype after they won 3-0, obviously against Luton in game week 3, and that's when we thought, oh, let's bring in Chelsea players now. They look really good. 19-pointer from Sterling in that game week, and obviously Nicholas Jackson gets his first goal for his Premier League for Chelsea, and they all looked good. And then obviously 3 game weeks later, 0 returns from Sterling, 0 returns from Nicholas Jackson. And we see now it doesn't look like Chelsea are really going forward now. It seems they're going backwards, and players like Sterling, who hold a lot of money in terms of value, 7.1 million. That's a player you don't necessarily need in your team if he's not returning you in fixtures, and especially with these easy fixtures, especially for game week 7 and 8. I don't see Sterling returning in either of those. And for those who don't know, I do believe Nicholas Jackson is going to be suspended.
Yeah, he is.
For them away. So yeah, we're getting the 5 yellow cards. So without Nicholas Jackson up front for obviously
that
Chelsea,
could be a good thing for Chelsea.
I mean, yeah, it could be
at
good
this
for you
point.
because Sterling will possibly play up front for Chelsea in that match. But it's in the back. But I think regardless of that, I still wouldn't put faith in Chelsea because Sterling can't do it on his own. It has to
Yep.
be a team effort.
What do you make of the people that are saying it's Fulham and it's Burnley? But it's
Well,
nice green fixtures. Should we keep Sterling maybe for another week? You know, that hopium or copium, should we say?
I mean, yeah, it's hard to because he does take up a midfielder spot, and we have seen through these game weeks a lot of midfielders are scoring big points, like we did see with obviously Saka, Son, Madison. This week scoring massive. Bruno Fernandes as well getting a double haul, and then you got Sterling with only literally 2 points from the game week. It is off-putting seeing it as well every week from Chelsea, and even though these fixtures are good, I think we also have to look at Chelsea's form over the fixtures. I think, and I think we have to go to the side of the form and say, I think it's time now to sell players like Sterling because you'd want like a better player with the same fixtures but with better form to obviously fill that gap. And I think Sterling is the player that needs to go.
Okay. Again, next up then, moving along from Sterling. The next player on the list is actually his teammate, and no surprise, it's another Chelsea player. That is Ben Chilwell. So I think we're not going to spend too long on this one.
No.
We've already answered this question. If you've got Ben Chilwell, I think you definitely have to sell at this point. I'm actually very, very frustrated with Chilwell. I know I think I had him since game week 1, I believe. So he started off the season quite well. I think he got me that 1 assist. I was very happy that I did have him for that assist. I can't remember what game it came in. He also did have a massive chance against Luton. I remember he had all he had to do is shoot and he'd probably score, but he decided to cut it back. But yeah, the last 2 games we've seen what's happened. Chilwell has dropped to the bench and he's come on for a 10-minute cameo and a 30-minute cameo. And yeah, look, you've got to get rid of Chilwell. If you've got him, he's taken up quite a bit of money at 5.6 million. He's had a price drop, I think. He's just a rotation risk now. So I would be getting rid of Ben Chilwell, definitely. I just think you don't want that sort of money on a player that's not going to start every game. But yeah, would you agree, Jordan? Yeah. It's definitely time to get rid now after his 2 benchings back to back.
Yeah, I think it's a bit worrying when he's only played literally 39 minutes in those 2 games for Chelsea. It's not really a good sign seeing that, and it's not explained really why Chilwell's being benched, and the reason why the manager decided to play 3 centre backs instead of having an attacking wing back. So it's very confusing and uncertain why Chilwell's being benched. But regardless of that, yeah, he's definitely a sell. And it does look like Chelsea are getting clean sheets anytime soon. It looks like they're conceding pretty much every game they've conceded, apart from obviously the Bournemouth one where they drew 0-0. Other than that, it's not looking good for Chelsea. You don't want a Chelsea defender like Ben Chilwell in your team if he isn't starting games. So yeah, he's an easier sell. I think you can afford to get rid of.
Yeah. Or okay. Let's move along then to the players that we think you should be looking to hold on to. First one up. Again, let us know what you guys think in the chat. Also, if you are joining in the stream, please hit that like button if you are enjoying the content, and also hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United. Let's talk about this right now.
Yeah, because you're a Rashford owner, aren't you, Huss?
Yep, I do own Rashford. I've actually had Rashford since game week 1. He's in my squad from when game week 1 started, and for me, Rashford has been pretty disappointing. If I think that's fair to say. I think Man United, obviously, we know, have had a tough start to the season. So 6 appearances, 1 goal and 2 assists for Rashford. His underlying numbers don't look as bad. Expected goals per 90, 0.38. But the eye test, when you watch Man United play, there is concerns, I think, definitely of the way they're playing right now. I know they got the win against Burnley on Saturday, and that was a big win for them. It was a must-win game, really. Again, the performance was not convincing. They could have easily drew that game. I thought, obviously, Bruno scored a bit of a wonder goal, but Rashford 8.9 million. He's had a price drop. People are getting rid of him, by the way. A lot of managers have sold Rashford. I'm just looking at how many managers exactly. Mm-hmm. So Rashford has been sold by 233,000 managers already this game week, and obviously deadline is still to come on Saturday. So he's
Wow.
highly transferred out. What makes me want to hold him, which I'm pushing that argument as why you should maybe hold him, is Palace at home. Man United are better at home, so that's one thing to look at. And yeah, purely just because of the fixture play, and if you've not got, let's say your team has other things, other issues like mine does, I don't think Rashford is a priority sell. I'd rather get rid of the likes of Sterling and Chilwell and then keep Rashford. But if your team is perfect and Rashford's the only fire in your team, then maybe you could take him out. But for me, I still think Rashford can return against Palace. Sheffield as well in Game Week 9. We've just seen Sheffield concede 8 goals to Newcastle. Now, are Man United going to do something similar? I'm not sure, but that could be a decent fixture for Marcus Rashford, because if everyone sells Marcus Rashford, Game Week 9, is he going to be a differential? We don't know. What do you think, Jordan, though, of holding Rashford? I know you don't have him, and you wouldn't buy him. Don't get me wrong. If you've not got Rashford, you wouldn't be looking to bring him in.
No,
if you're in my position, where you may have other things that you want to sort out first, like a Sterling, like a Jackson, Chilwell, etc.
Yeah. Then if you see it in that sense, the priority is definitely not Rashford. You definitely want to hold on to him, especially when you've got priorities like Chelsea assets, which most of us do have in our teams. And with the fixtures Rashford does have in these next 3 are pretty good in terms of difficulty. Whether the form for Man United in those games are good or not, that is dependable on obviously how they play each game, as they haven't been convincing from Game Week 1 in any sort of match that I've seen. But there's definitely more priorities I think we should be focusing on in our teams rather than getting rid of Rashford, even though that convincing 1-0 win wasn't really the deserved 3 points for Man United on that game. They definitely should have drew, in my opinion, and Burnley should have at least got 1 point from that game. That is a question.
Also, sorry, I was going to ask you, can you see Rashford scoring against Palace, Brentford and Sheffield? And is he a better asset than Bruno? Because obviously Bruno got the goal, but we sold Bruno. Obviously, I sold Bruno a couple of weeks ago and kept Rashford. Do you think that's the right decision? Rashford is still better than Bruno as a pick, or is Bruno now better?
I mean, it does depend, because Bruno in that game played more forward than he usually does. He plays further back in other games for Man United, but because of the slight change of position now, he's playing more forward centrally. It's very arguable if you say Rashford or Bruno is the better pick, because I think if Bruno plays in this position forward more often, then he may be more of a better pick, especially when he's on penalties too. But with Rashford on the left-hand side, you can still say he has that capability, because that is his natural position. And he is a goal scorer from that position, like we saw him last season. So it is a bit of 50-50, I think. I still think Rashford is probably the better player to go with over Bruno slightly, even though Bruno's on penalties. But that is a question I wanted to ask you as well. Are you willing to hold Rashford, obviously until Game Week 9 when he has Sheffield United away? As we did say, Sheffield did concede 8 goals. So even if you didn't have any other priorities in your team, would you still hold on to Rashford?
No, look, I don't think Rashford is a must-own or anything like that. I think definitely if you can get rid of him for a better player, go for it. If he lets you afford a Salah, for example, then yeah, you could do it. Obviously, we're going to come on to, we're not going to really discuss Arsenal right now, but apparently Saka, you were correct on that. Apparently Saka does have a knock or something. So maybe you have to hold on to Rashford in that sense and maybe get rid of a Saka if you've got him. Obviously, I saw Mikel Arteta actually say he wasn't training after the game against Spurs. So who knows what that's, what's happening there. But yeah, in terms of Rashford, I don't think he's a must own. I think if you can get rid, you're fairly within your rights to get rid of him. I'm just going to hold him, I think, because again, I've got other things I need to sort out in my team, like Sterling, who I'd rather get rid of first. And again, it's a home fixture. And I know Sherwin said Palace don't concede many. I actually agree. I don't think these games are easy for Man United. Palace at home, I don't think will be easy. I don't think Brentford will be easy either. Sheffield is the one where I think Man United could have some joy. And then after that, City is obviously a tough game. But Yeah, that's where I land on Rashford. I think if you've got him like I do, and you've got other fires, keep him. But if not, if you're in a luxury position where your team looks fine and you could bring a Salah in or a Madison, then yeah, I'd probably get rid of Rashford. Um,
Yeah.
But even then, Madison's got Liverpool this week and Rashford has Palace, so you'd probably want Rashford maybe.
Just saying that Madison is also flagged.
Oh yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, so I don't know what the situation is. I have to wait until press conference for that information. But yeah.
Okie dokie. So who's up next? Another hold we got to discuss, and this is Embuemo. Now, this one might be. I mean, I was shocked actually when I saw this looking at the website. Embuemo has been sold by 192,000 managers. He's currently the 6th highest transferred out player already so far this game week. That is now back-to-back blanks for Embuemo against Newcastle and Everton. Now, obviously, that Everton loss 3-1 comes as a shock because none of us saw that result, or Everton winning 3-1, especially being a home game for Brentford. We all thought Brentford will win this comfortably. Yeah, are you surprised, Jordan? Embuemo, that many transfers out when he's been really good so far this season at his value, 6.9 million, and he's got Forest next as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised that. I mean, I ain't going to complain because I have Embuemo, so
yeah.
If you guys are keen to selling Embuemo, then that's better for us owners. But yeah, I am surprised at that. I think that loss to Everton might have hurt a few people in terms of how he didn't go down with Embuemo in terms of not getting anything from that game either, as well. But I'm surprised he's only had 3 blanks this season, and he's only had 2 back-to-back, obviously from the Everton one and the one prior to that as well. So, but I'm very confused at why people are willing to sell Embuemo because the fixtures are still good. I don't think that Man United one is really red. I think that's easily a grey or even a green.
I agree.
Then he's got Burnley at home in game week 9 and Chelsea again, another fixture which I don't think is grey. I think that's easily a green. And then West Ham at home in game week 11. Now I do think the one thing that did put people off was Embuemo playing obviously out of his position.
Yeah.
And he has done that for the last, I think, 2 games now. He's played on the wing rather than playing more centrally like he normally does, where he has been getting more chances. Because as he's been playing on the wing recently, he hasn't had as many chances as he did before in other games. So maybe that has put people off of obviously having him in the team. And Brentford have slightly dropped off of slight form in the last 2 game weeks. That's the only reasoning why I think people have lost faith in Embuemo. But regardless of that, you still hold on to with the nice fixtures he obviously has next. And hopefully the manager can really see that Embuemo plays much better centrally than he does on the wing. But what do you think the reason is, Huss, that people are willing to sell Embuemo such early on?
I mean, yeah, this Sherwin comment, he's a bad asset if he plays wing back. I think this does partly play into why people are looking to get rid of the arm in there. I've had Embuemo since game week 1, so I'm a Embuemo stan, really. I've had him. He was my 6.5 million pick. And there was a chatter in the start of the season, Mitoma, Embuemo, Eze, etc. I chose Embuemo and it paid off, I think a lot of the managers that are selling him maybe bought him in before all the points. So you take a look at how he did. In game week 1, he gets a 7-pointer against Tottenham. Game week 2, he gets a lovely 16-pointer against Fulham. Then maybe people start bringing him in. And since game week 3, it's a blank against Palace. He did return an 8-pointer against Bournemouth when he scored, but then it's not been another 2 blanks since then. So it does depend when you bought him in. Obviously, I bought him in very early, so I got the early points that he had. So I'm not willing to sell him personally. I think he's got 4 goals in 6 appearances for a 6.5 million player, which I bought him for. That's great value for money. And again, you mentioned these fixtures: Forest, Man United, Burnley, Chelsea. I don't think Man United is a red fixture for him. I know it's at Old Trafford, but I'd back Brentford. Maybe not to win against Man United, but definitely to score against Man United. And even Chelsea, I think Embuemo has that potential. We still know Tony isn't back yet, so there is a bit of a reliance on Embuemo. So yeah, I think he is one to watch in the sense, is he going to play wing back like longer term? If he played wing back again against Forest and then Man United, then look, we'll have to have another discussion. But for now, I'm happy to hold him personally because I think the fixtures are not bad and he's returned pretty consistently for me.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't play wing back next match, and obviously plays back where he normally has done in the team, and hopefully the manager has realised that after that Everton loss.
Okay, yeah. So let's pull up some other players that we think you should be looking to ignore. Now, these are players that a lot of managers are bringing in, and we think maybe you can maybe hold on to or delay or even completely avoid. So looking at transfers in this round, Walker is Walker is the sixth highest transferred in player already so far this game with 182,000 of you managers bringing him in already.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want to chat about Kyle Walker because 6 appearances so far, and interestingly, Walker has played 90 minutes on every game so far. Which does come as a surprise maybe because
Mm.
one thing about Walker we thought he may get rotated out because Man City have a lot of defenders, but he's played every game, 90 minutes in all games. He had 3 clean sheets, I believe, and he's also got the assist in the last game week, and he got the 11-pointer against Forest. Just looking after, did he get a bonus in that game as well? I'm not sure. Yeah, he did. He got 2 bonus points, and then obviously for the assist as well. So he got an 11-pointer, and I think a lot of people are looking at that 11-pointer that he just got and are now looking at bringing him in. And don't get me wrong, I don't think he's necessarily a bad pick. Against Wolves, you can see a clean sheet here for Man City. But then after that, again, the fixtures do turn a bit. Arsenal, Brighton, Man United. So these are some tougher fixtures. It's mad how Man United is a red fixture here for Man City, but
yeah, I mean, rivalry, I guess, over the years.
Yeah, of course, it's still a big game. But if I'm looking at bringing a defender right now, I would be prioritizing Newcastle defenders ahead of a Man City defender. And yes, Walker has played every minute so far, really, 90 minutes in all 6 games. But that's nothing to say that won't change, because we know with City there is that risk of rotation. They can play an Ake, a Kanji. I don't know what the situation with is Stones. Is he back soon? I believe he could be back. If Stones returns, then that's another potential threat to Kyle Walker. But would you say he's an ignore right now as well? Or?
Oh yeah, I was actually surprised he was on in terms of transfer list for players brought in via transfers. Yeah, I think he is an ignore. I've not even looked at Walker, if I'm honest. I didn't even realise he played 90-minute football each game week, which is astonishing. But that 11-pointer, again, that is not going to happen week in and week out as well. And especially with the fixtures Man City do have coming up next, it is going to be challenging. They are probably going to win, if not all of those fixtures coming up. But clean sheets, do you see many clean sheets in those next 5? I only see really 2 out of those next 5 fixtures, which obviously is Wolves away in game week 7. I see a clean sheet, and Bournemouth at home in game week 11. But besides that, I don't see a clean sheet against Arsenal, Brighton. Even Man United could potentially get one past Man City, even though it's very doubtful. But yeah, in terms of Walker, he's not potentially that player that you think in defender-wise he's going to be attacking constantly in each game, that especially with the fixtures coming up for Man City. And because you got that assist against Nottingham Forest, it's not going to happen every week, I don't think, in my opinion. So you're pretty much relying on Walker for clean sheets rather than always getting like an attacker return, if not a clean sheet. So yeah, I think he's definitely ignore for the current moment until the fixtures at least improve. I think then maybe you can consider Walker if he's still playing 90-minute football. Yeah,
I'm always worried with players like Walker. I've been there before previous seasons, and he'll play 6-7 games and then he'll get a benching, which I wouldn't be surprised if he does get benched in one of these games coming up, especially with the Stones potentially returning. But yeah, let's move along then to the next player, final pick. That is Son. Now, this one might come as a surprise to you guys, because Son has just come off the back of a brilliant performance, a clinical performance, I should say, against Arsenal, where he scored 2 goals in a 14-pointer he got. And Son has had some big hauls already so far. Against Burnley, who got a 20-pointer, and then Arsenal, obviously, a 14-pointer. And he is playing in that number 9 role right now. And Son is the second highest transferred in player already so far this game week, with 306,000 managers already bringing him in. So he's a very, very popular transfer. And this could make me look silly because I own Son myself. So I'm not saying he's a bad pick. But do you want to bring him in before Liverpool? Is the question. And don't get me wrong, he can definitely score against Liverpool because Liverpool, the way they play, is kind of suited to Son's game because Son does like to run in behind those balls. Spurs are going to play it behind that back line of Liverpool where Son, he does like that to play on that play on the shoulder. But again, fixture, I wouldn't want to bring him in before Liverpool at home. But look, I could get this massively wrong. So 6 appearances, 5 goals. So he's having a good season. Harry Kane has gone to Bayern and Son has stepped up that mantle and he's shown that he's a number 9 now for Spurs. 9.2 million. He's quite pricey to bring in, but I definitely think if not Liverpool, after that, I think I'd want Son because that Luton away in game week 8, and I think that same game week, obviously Haaland as Arsenal. There's going to be a very interesting discussion here. Do you captain Son or Spurs player against Luton, or do you go Haaland against Arsenal? That's going to be interesting for sure. But yeah, for me, the reason why Son is on there is just because he's got Liverpool next, and I don't know if I'd want to bring him in before that game. But look, he could score against Liverpool. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, would you want to add anything on Spurs or Son?
I do think it will be difficult for Son because it depends, obviously, the status of Maddison. Because obviously he's flagged in FPL. I think we obviously have to wait till press conference because it is an ankle injury currently for Maddison. So it will depend, I think. Obviously, Son is an ignore, but I think he's even more of an ignore if Maddison is ruled out for that Liverpool game where a lot of you has transferred in. Obviously, Son for game week 7, Liverpool home. But come to think of it, in the last fixture, obviously against Arsenal, Maddison did assist both of Son's goals. So without Maddison in that team, do we see the same consistency where Son is provided with players like Maddison? Like, do they have the form and quality to obviously provide Son with these goals? Obviously, get him obviously on the score sheet in his fixtures without Maddison. That is the question which has been playing on my mind in terms of do you still go for Son? But he's definitely ignore. Obviously, game week 7. I think he's even more of an ignore if Maddison is ruled out for that game. Yeah,
Maddison has an injury, but if he's okay, then not obviously that's a big boost for Spurs, and hopefully he's okay because obviously 156,000 managers have already bought Maddison in while he's been flagged. So maybe he's fine. It was a little knock, but he's got a 75% chance of playing apparently according to the FPL site. But yeah, I think that's where we're at with Son. I don't think he's a bad pick against Liverpool, but it is a tougher game. And then maybe you want to prioritize someone else this week and then bring him in a week after that. That's kind of where we're going with it. Look, I own Son, so I think he is a good option in your longer term. But yeah, I think that's it really from the players. If you want to quickly recap, we can just quickly recap all the players that we've selected for those that are joining in. Also, there's about 14, 15 of you in here. If you haven't pressed like on the video, please do that. Please hit the like button if you can. If you haven't subscribed, if you're watching for the first time, if you're watching it on a playback, hit that subscribe button as well. So yeah, the players that you should be looking to buy, we've gone with Mo Salah and Kieran Trippier. You should sell, just remembering it was Sterling and Ben Chilwell. You should hold on to Rashford and Mbeumo, and you should ignore Kyle Walker and Heung-min Son. So those are the players. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there someone that we should have added in to the list or someone we've left out? Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We're going to read a few out and then we'll wrap it up and take some of your questions as well before we head out. We've got yo lads from Martin Football. How's everyone?
Hey,
we're good, Martin. Hope you're well. Lads, this is my game week team going into the next week. Could you help me out? my starting lineup is Jose Sarr, Trippier, Robertson, Kilman, Son, Mbeumo, Saka, Neto, Edouard, Alvarez, and Haaland.
Oof.
What to do with Gusto and Madison? So a few things come in.
Yeah.
What would you do, Jordan? Because just looking at his team, where do you see is the main issues or problems?
I think, well, the Saka one is definitely one problem. You might have to wait and see. Obviously, the press conference on Arteta, what he says about Saka, but let's say he's all right. I think the next priority would be potentially Robertson, because he does have obviously Spurs, and I don't really see a clean sheet from Robertson from that game. So he may be a player you may want to obviously transfer or bench if you're willing to bench Robertson. But bringing another defender, maybe a Newcastle defender. Actually, you have Newcastle. Sorry,
got Trippier.
Maybe Botman go double Newcastle.
Double up. What to do with Gusto or Madison? I think you just keep and reassess after the press conferences. If Madison's fit, then you just keep him. We've got Calvin FPL in the chat. Welcome, Calvin.
Hey,
I hope you're well, mate. We've got to link up soon and do another video, hopefully. But yeah, hope you're keeping well. I think we read this one out. Actually, we haven't read this one out. Thanks, Haas. I have Botman, so maybe the double down. But Trippier might be a bit pricey if I'm going to get Salah. Yeah. If you want Salah and you can't afford Trippier, then I guess go to Dan Burn and Botman maybe. Might be knee-jerky bringing Dan Burn in, but, you know, Dan Burn's one of those players that you're just relying on clean sheets, really. Or even Shah, you know, you could get Shah in. Is it time to get rid of Saka? For me, no.
No.
I think it's wait and see.
Yeah, definitely wait and see what press conference reveals for Saka.
Mitoma in, Jordan.
Mitoma in. He's one that hasn't been spoken about at all, considering he scored 2 goals off of the bench.
Yeah, to be fair, he is the 4th highest most transferred in player. 238,000 transfers in already this game week so far.
Yeah, which is a bit worrying because he is 42% owned overall, and it's rising. And I'm without Mitoma personally, and that does hurt my rank. Obviously, when Mitoma does get returns, whether I bring him in or not, it's very questionable because he only played 45 minutes, and that does concern me because it does like Serbi, he does like to rotate players.
Sorry, I was just going to say that's his first. I think that's his first benching this season, and he's obviously because of I'm assuming he just deserved thought he needed a rest, but fixtures get a bit tough for Brighton. Villa, Liverpool, Man City next 3.
Yeah, I don't think I'll bring him into the next 3. I think game week 10 onwards, when the fixtures change, then I may be tempted to bring Mitoma in. But even though he did score 2 goals last game, obviously against Bournemouth, I still will hold out, I think, on Mitoma for the fixtures for the next 3 years coming up.
Yeah, he's a bit of a rank killer, isn't he?
Yeah, annoyingly, he is a rank killer, Mitoma, if he does score, because he does get bonus points as well. Yeah,
like nearly half the game own him, obviously. Like nearly 50% of you guys. So he's obviously, if he returns, then it's not good for me, especially for me at my rank right now. Tendai, all right, lads. Jordan looking like a young Rashford.
Thanks, Tendai.
Take that as a compliment. Palace don't concede many. We read this one out. You're right, lads. I have both over the season. Will return. I'm assuming that's Bruno and Rashford. Holding Bruno, Rashford, and Højlund. I wouldn't be triple up on Man United at all.
That is very brave, Christian. As a Man United owner, I salute you.
Yeah, triple up is a bit mad on Man United right now, I think. But look, hope it goes well for you. I got Haaland, Alvarez, and Foden. Very happy with them 3. Nice. Sterling over Ward-Prowse to bench.
Sterling over.
Who would you bench, basically? Ward-Prowse or Sterling? And who's got Ward-Prowse got next?
Oh, that's easy. I would bench Sterling. Ward-Prowse. I would be in the luxury position to bring James Ward-Prowse in because he does have Sheffield United next. And they just conceded 8 goals. And I think James Ward-Prowse could have a stormer of a game against Sheffield United this coming game week.
Would you still go Jay Ward-Prowse over Bowen? I think I'd go
I
Bowen.
I don't know. I think I would go James Ward-Prowse over Bowen,
Okay.
just because James Ward-Prowse on set pieces and
Mm.
corners, I believe, as well. So
Yeah.
a bit more upside, I think, from James Ward-Prowse because he is pretty good at set pieces.
Fair enough. I think I'll go Bowen on that one. I think he's the one I'd probably back in terms of open play as well. But look, Ward-Prowse has been a great signing so far for West Ham. Krogsberg, I'm considering Jackson to Morris and Estupinian to Bell -4. Nah, I'll do Jackson to Morris, but I wouldn't do Estupinian to Bell. I don't think.
No, I don't think I would either. Even though Luton have Burnley and Everton, a -4, I don't see a clean sheet for either match for Luton. And even if they don't get a clean sheet for either match, that's 4 points for Bell, as long as they don't concede 2 goals or more. So I don't think it'd be worth taking a -4 to bring Bell,
Yeah, I'm not
especially for
sure.
Estupinian.
Yeah. Yeah, Estupinian got an assist, didn't he? Again, last game against Bournemouth. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to sell Estupinian, even though he's got the tough games and he's got that tough run coming up. It is going to be interesting to see what managers do with Estupinian. Do you get rid and bring him back, or do you just sell him now into your wild card? Adam 8 with a comment: opinions on Chilwell, Saka, Rashford to Botman, Salah, and Eze for a -4. I mean, Saka is a wait and see. We've said that.
Yeah.
But what do you think of something like this? I think it looks interesting.
It's good long term, I think,
Mm.
because Newcastle have long term fixtures that are nice. Salah has upcoming fixtures that look nice too.
Yeah.
And obviously Eze, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I think it looks good, man. I'd do something like this. I know it's a -4, but I wouldn't be against this type of -4. But I wouldn't want to sell Saka if he's fit.
No.
And even if he misses one game, I'd probably want Saka back anyway.
Yeah, definitely. If it's not a serious injury where he's out short term, then yeah, definitely want Saka back.
Actually, Saka has game week, Man City in game week 8, and then Chelsea in game week 9. So now he still probably wants Saka, I'm guessing.
Yeah, big game. I think big return for Saka.
Evening, guys. Dan. Evening, Dan. Hope you're well. Is Estupinian out for Shaw worth it for the next 3 and then getting back in game week 10? I have 2 free transfers, but don't really need to make any. Yeah, it could be worth it, I think, because you take a look at Estupinian, even though we've said not to sell him. But if you can bring him back and you've got luxury transfers, Estupinian has Villa next. I don't see a clean sheet against Villa. Liverpool, I don't see a clean sheet against Liverpool. And then City. So that's 3 games where I expect Brighton to concede. And Brighton have conceded in every game so far this season, I believe. Brighton have not kept a single clean sheet this season. Obviously, the beauty of Estupinian is that fact that he doesn't need clean sheets to get big returns. He can just get an assist or get a goal.
Yeah.
So
I think
that is the worry.
That's a scary thing, that he doesn't necessarily need to get a clean sheet to get points. His attacking threat is really good this season for Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, he's been quality. He's one of the best left backs in the league, I think. Overall, I think he's a great player. So I don't know if I'd be selling Estupinian because his attacking threat is that good. In any game, I'd back him, really. And even against the likes of Liverpool and City. Anyone know when Arsenal's press conference is? I'm not sure, to be honest.
No,
I think it might be on Friday. Might be Friday. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We're nearly gone for an hour. And Man United are actually playing tonight. For those that don't know, Man United are playing in the Carabao Cup against Palace. So Man United have Palace and then again Palace in the league, back-to-back games against Palace. So it's going to be interesting to see what lineup Man United put out as well. So I'm going to go and watch that game. Let us know what you guys are doing in the chat. Are you watching some football tonight as well? What is it? When is the best time to wildcard? It is very team dependent. We'd have a wildcard video on this channel. We dropped it a couple of weeks ago. Do check that out. It's still relevant. But we're gonna have more content on wildcards coming up as well. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Say a big thank you to you guys for watching. Please like the video if you're enjoying the content. If we're providing value to you, hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We are on the verge of 1,000 subscribers. I think we're like 90 away from 1,000, which will be a big milestone for the channel. So yeah, we appreciate you guys for supporting us. And yeah, we hopefully keep this content coming to you guys if you enjoy it. And yeah, what do you want to add, Jordan? Anything else?
Yeah, just thank you guys for watching as always. It's always appreciated for your support for each video we stream. And yeah, stay tuned obviously for Thursday when we have our team selection, where you get to see what moves we will probably do and obviously who we captain. But until then, take care, enjoy the week, and we'll see you Thursday.
Yep, take care, guys, and see you soon.